Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This was created by Ellie and Chemi, and Ellie is still active, so I highly encourage you to go and check out her channel. And I will also be telling you about my stats for so far this year. First question is, what was the best book you read so far this year? And for me, I chose The Spirit Bares Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. It is about autistic, misogyny affected people being institutionalized, and also other misogyny affected people being institutionalized in 1800s Britain. It has a magical twist to it where people with violet eyes can see spirits. So it's pretty dark, but it's just excellent. The main character and the author are both trans men who are autistic. What is the best sequel you read this year? I chose Redemptor because it brought home the duology really well. I really liked the continuation of the characterization and where the plot ended up going and the themes that were addressed about how to deal with your predecessors and ancestors having committed atrocities against people and how to make things right without letting it weigh you down so much that you become frozen or isolated from other people. Number 3, what is a new release that you haven't gotten around to reading yet? Number 3, what is a 2024 release you haven't gotten around to reading yet? Pretty recently, Lady Catherine's The Perils of Lady Catherine came out. That one is following in a series of Jane Austen retellings that focus on the son of Elizabeth and Darcy and the daughter of the Northanger Abbey couple, and them having a little bit of a romance. And Jonathan Darcy is autistic, and it's a mystery series where there's been a murder of one of the characters or extended characters of one of the books. And in this case, I've heard that it is about someone who has not successfully killed Lady Catherine de Bourgh, but is trying to, and she brings in our mystery solvers to help figure out who it is so they can be stopped. And I'm very excited for it. What is your most anticipated release for this year? And I looked up a bunch of like upcoming release pages, and then I looked up various series that I'm in the middle of that I'm waiting for the next book to see if any of them were coming out during the rest of this year, and I couldn't find any. So I'm sure there are some coming out that I'm looking forward to, but I don't know what they are. I don't keep that great a track of those things because my brain just works better if I forget something I'm waiting for exists, and then I'm happily surprised when it comes around. What was your biggest disappointment this year? Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faizal. I should have read the description better. When people were reviewing it and advertising it, they seemed to mostly mention tea house where vampires drink blood. They didn't mention as much that it was supposed to be a heist story. But a lot of people who went in for the heist story were also disappointed, so yeah, unfortunately not that great. Although I did really like a few of the characters, the plot and like how the story went was ultimately confusing and not enjoyable. What was your biggest surprise of this year? I picked So Lucky by Nicola Griffith because it is a genre that I don't really like, a thriller, psychological thriller specifically, but I really enjoyed it. It's all about a woman finding out she has MS and how she deals with that, and dealing with both her internalized ableism and the very real threat of violence against disabled people. Do you have a new favorite author this year? I would say that Jordan Fueko is a new favorite, although I really liked the previous book I read, Raybearer. I feel like now that I've read 2 books, it's more like I feel like she can be a favorite author instead of it just being a favorite book, because I've read the 2 books, and she did really well on the second book as well. And I'm looking forward to anything more that she writes. Ben, do you have a new fictional crush? I picked Chloe Kitagawa from Belle of the Ball by Marie Costa. I just think she's really cute, and I really like how she treats the other characters. Who is your new favorite character of this year? And I picked Yamilet from The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. Again, I really like how she treats people, and she tries her best to take care of people and be kind to people, even though she's dealing with a lot of stuff. And sometimes she messes up, but she is pretty good at apologizing. Yeah, she's just lovely. What is a book that made you cry? The Magic Fish made me cry a lot. Several books have made me cry this year, but that one made me cry the most, and it was just so lovely. I talked about it pretty recently, but it's stories within a story, and it's a graphic novel, and it's about the power of stories and how we change them and use them to communicate important things to us personally and to our culture. What is the most beautiful book you have acquired this year? And I have acquired several that are very pretty, but I decided to pick The Thorn Queen by Elise Holland, and it has these black purpley roses with lots of thorns around the edges, and then it has a mountainscape with a castle and a walled town down below with forests and a night sky with a moon, and it's just really quite pretty. And the spine is fairly nice as well. I still have one more sticker to take off of it, but I really like the spine as well. So yeah, I did pick this up for the cover, but also because it's a middle grade fantasy, and that is one of my favorite combinations of age range and genre. What books do you need to read before the end of the year? And I need to read Wicked Fox, preferably soon, because it goes right here in my bookshelf and there's a gap there right now, and I don't want to replace it with another pink book because I want to read it promptly and then put it back where it belongs. So hopefully that will be done soon. I'm about 60 pages into it right now. And yeah, there's a bunch of other books that I own that I need to read, as well as ones I need to get from the library and read for various reasons. What is a book that made you happy? The Other Bennett Sister. I really enjoyed my entire time with it. It was slow and lulling, and just spending a lot of time in a Jane Austen era world with several of those characters, with that type of focus on women's lives, not the focus on romance that a lot of Jane Austen's books have, but the focus on women and the drama of the drawing room or the sitting room, social rules and how they are helpful and how they're a hindrance, and all of that was really lovely. I really enjoyed it. And what is your favorite book to screen adaptation that you've watched this year? I haven't actually watched any new book to screen adaptations this year. I haven't watched very many movies that are new to me at all, but I just saw some trailers for The Wild Robot, and I read that book a while ago and I really enjoyed it. It's actually a series, and I've only read the first book. I think the movie kind of spans all of the books. I'm really excited for that movie. I think it'll be really good. So that was the mid-year book freakout tag. I tag anyone who hasn't done it yet this year and would like to. Let's go on to my stats. So I read 64 books, and if you have watched for the last several years, you'll know that usually I read 200 books in a year. Except when I'm having a reading slump or something is making me read less. And we'll get into my theories as to why I might be reading less a little bit later. But yeah, I'm about 35 books behind where I would normally be at the end of the 6 month point. I'm going to be looking for some ways to increase in the second half of the year because reading makes me happy, so I think I would probably be happier if I did more of it. There are several types of representation that I keep track of how much I am reading, and also like authors. So 62% of the books that I've read so far this year have been by BIPOC authors. That's actually up from like 55% last year. So I'm feeling good in that area. 9% of the books I've read have had fat wrap in them, which is also up from like 4% last year. So that's good. Also next month, August, is the plus size readathon. So I'm hoping to get lots of good recommendations during that readathon and read some of the books with fat wrap that are on my backlist. Then 18% were by disabled authors, which is also up from last year. So I'm really hitting my goals this year. And then 35% were had queer rep, which is also up from last year. Then for genre breakdown, we have 31% romance and 23% fantasy. And here's where I thought this might be the problem, because those are my two favorite genres. And if I've been reading less of them, that might be why I just haven't been enjoying the books I've been reading as much. So I've been reading slower, or I've been like, I could pick up a book right now, but I'm really not interested in any of the books I'm reading, so I'm gonna do something else instead. So I'm wondering if that's what the problem is, because you'll see next is 18% nonfiction, which is definitely more than usual, and then 31% contemporary and historical fiction. And I combine those because both of those are somewhat boring to me if they don't include some kind of fantastical or romantic element. And as I was going through, I was figuring out that, well, most of the ones that I read that were contemporary historical fiction or nonfiction were either by a disabled author, usually about a disabled character or a memoir, or were about some kind of current issue like Palestine or immigration, things like that. In some ways, that's good, and that's what's led to my increases in my percentages in the other section we were talking about. But what it looks like is I need to be finding more books by Palestinian authors and disabled authors that are either fantasy or romance. Or poetry. I do enjoy some good poetry. So I'm going to try to make a list. I have a lot of recommendations on my phone that I just snap screenshots of when I see them. So hopefully the second part of the year will go a little bit better than the first part of the year, as far as number of books read and getting my favorite genres done. So thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know about your goals for the rest of the year and how you feel you've done on your yearly goals in the first half. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!